So I have a project today which is Bondo, and first I have two things. One is, this is the light, a cheap light that my wife bought at dollar store for $5, and the light works, but the it's supposed to sit on a tripod, and this all busted up. These legs fit in here. These legs fit in here, and then there's supposed to be screws in here that hold it, that hold the legs from popping out, but still allow them to swivel. And then that's supposed to be attached to here. So what I'm going to do, this is where the light screws in, I'm going to attempt to Bondo this part, and I'll probably end up having to Bondo it with the legs out. They probably won't swivel anymore. There's probably more than one way to do this, but in other words, I could probably run a screw through it, through the center of it. But it had 3 screws in it, and they've already broken off, so I don't know. Plus, this has to attach to this, and I got no way to really run a screw through this. It's already screwed in here in a way. I don't know, it might be doable, but I'm not going to mess with it. I'm going to try and Bondo it. Well, like I say, with the legs, I'll get the legs positioned, get it all together. And I'm not sure how I'll hold it, but I'll probably show a little bit how I hold it all together. That'll be the trick. Hold it all together while I run the Bondo around it, and when the Bondo hardens, then that'll be that. Now I've got another thing, which is a handle, which is going to be difficult also. I might have to, here it is. So this handle is a humidifier, and this is a gallon of water is hanging on this. So I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do this one either. It doesn't have to, as it's designed, it drops down into a thing. When you don't need it, then you pull it. I don't need it to drop down anymore. So I'll probably put Bondo all the way around here, and I'll probably use that fiberglass net. I'll get some fiberglass net, but the fiberglass, which I may have offered a link to through my fiberglass. The trouble with fiberglass is like water. It just drips all over. Bondo's a paste, so you can form it a little bit like clay. So the next part of this video is going to be actually working with the Bondo. Actually, I decided I'm going to include one more thing, which is different. I'm not going to use Bondo. I might use glue, but this picture frame is broke right here. This is that particle board MDF. You know, it should not have been used for this, for a picture frame. But, in fact, I almost should reinforce it all the way around, but I don't know if I will. But I think there's 2 ways I could do it. I could screw through here, but this is the canvas, so I shouldn't, even though it's already busted. But so I might. But what I might do is I might just take a piece of wood the right size and glue it and clamp it. And I'll show you something else. This is my daughter likes this. Oh, somebody's calling me. But somebody really did it. You could see the pencil marks. One problem that we're going to have with this is it's a kind of a design flaw. that when you, so the legs are out like this, and it's good in a manner of speaking if you've got the space for it, because it's, you know, a wide stance. But the problem is when you push a little bit like that, see, there's too much leverage. It busts that thing. So I think probably, see, even when I Bondo this, there's going to be a lot of leverage to do that. It would be better if I can Bondo them in more of a angle like that. Although, yeah, I don't think they'll have quite as much force that way. Particularly if I pack Bondo in here. I don't know exactly. I don't know, maybe it wouldn't make any difference. See, it's got a swivel here, it doesn't do anything. But when it comes up to here, see, it pushes like that. It pushes it, it's got leverage on it, pushes it out. So I guess if I Bondo in here, then it'll have leverage sooner, but if I pack, I'll just end up probably packing it all with Bondo, so it'll kind of become a solid piece. It won't be able to move at all, ideally, maybe. In addition, it has to be stacked. If I glue this separate, then this won't probably, I mean, I could glue it separate, but I think I'm just going to stack it all at once. So that wasn't too hard. So far, so good. And this handle thing, I figured out I could take this lid apart. See, it goes in here like this. It's supposed to drop down like that, but I'm not going to worry about that. But I can't. It's still kind of hard to get to it. And the way this is, there's no leverage. All the forces are against me. It's got a pull-out force that way and also this way. So I'm going to have to cheat it. But if I take this lid off here, I'll probably help a lot. Now with this lid off, I can glue it under here. I can lock it in under here some way, I think. In other words, if I attach this piece to this piece, that's half the battle. The other half the battle is going to be forces going this way, trying to pull that out. I'll probably have to wrap around. If I wrap around the edge with fiber cloth, I'll probably be all right. I guess this will be all right. I'll have to Bondo this tape. Will get buried. I'll just Bondo it from here to here, this joint here, try and get that. And then I'll take the rest of the tape off, hopefully it'll stay in place, and then I'll Bondo it all the way around here. Fix this to this, probably this one also, so it won't move. So there's that one, and I decided to do kind of a spot weld on this. I've already done one over here because I can't really get to the whole thing, and I'll show you. I put this on. See, this is real nice, but I was thinking it's not going to have the tensile quality that I need. But when I add in the fiber, it really makes it hard to work with. You would never kind of guess how much trouble that fiber makes it into. And see it wanna, you get those fibers, they stand up, and they're hard to sand. but this here, like I say, this is just like a spot weld. So I can take this C-clamp off. Now I've got that C-clamp welded on. I'm going to take that C-clamp off and then it'll stand on its own. Just put a little more here because this has to stick together right there too. That'll probably hold it enough. I'll take that C-clamp off and then I'll smear all the way around. I'm going to put a big glob on there. A big glob. And similar here. See, it's setting up already. Kind of put a lot of this, changes color. Changes to pink when you put that hardener in there. Well, I'll tell you, this stuff is just, but when you don't put the hardener in there, it is so sticky. And it never hardens. Did I get some on this picture? Nope. I guess not. I don't know. This is the other thing I gotta do is fix this picture. So there's the first coat. It's not very nice because of that fiber. But I need to take that tape off. This one here, as I say, my plan is to do the whole thing. What I should do maybe is put one more with fiber here and then go over the top of everything with no fiber. That'll help to smooth it out. So this shows how this kind of, it's supposed to drop down in. This shows how this is supposed to work. It's supposed to drop down in. See, this is stopping it. But the thing of it is, it had, when I go to lift on it, it's got a gallon of water, so there's 8 pounds. Plus, I go kind of quickly sometimes. I'm not real careful, so I don't think the force, I don't think this will hold up to those kind of forces. Plus, it can come out. The only thing holding it here is that clip, so if it just rotates a little bit, this clip can come out, and then I dump all that water. So that's why, even though it seems like it's fixed at this point, I'm going to go ahead and put enough goop on it that it doesn't drop down anymore. I'm going to lock those tabs in, and also goop this all around because, like I say, the forces are going to try and pull this apart. There's just not enough there, I don't believe, to prevent that from happening. I don't mix up very much at any one time. It hardens. Normally I would probably normally I would sand this to give it more tooth, but it was so, I didn't. Anyway, I didn't. Same with this. No sanding for tooth. So I would say, if it's a good idea to do that, but I didn't do it. This is what happens when it starts to harden up. I probably could have mixed less harder because it hasn't been very long. But then again, it's nice to have it harden up. And on this one, I had to find a place to so it wouldn't. If I turn it the other way, it'll slide down. So I had to find a way to hold it, or hold it without that handle. Without gravity pulling that handle in the other direction. I wasn't planning on doing this so that the legs folded up, but it worked out at this point. They're folding up, so I guess I'll go ahead and stick with this configuration until it breaks again. And we'll have learned something at that time. But what I need to do now is take off some of these edges. Oh, so this one here too has these edges from that fiberglass. This works good for it, but probably on this little thing, where's that file now? What do I do with it? Probably just use this for this. Take those edges off, then put another coat on, and that'll be smooth. So here's this thing reassembled and full of water. I feel like I ought to have a safety loop. I could run a rope through there, but now I've reassembled it. I'd have to unassemble it to run that rope through. I don't know, it's pretty good, feels pretty good. Just water anyway. If I go to carry it around, carry it here, carry it there. I just have to mop the floor if it splooshes. So far, so good. Blurp, blurp, blurp. I don't actually need that gallon of water right at this minute. There's this thing with the fully assembled. Looks a little crooked, but I guess it matters. I'm not sure how this thing works. It looks like you put your cell phone here. A lot of times with these ring lights, you'll shoot right through the light. But anyway, and it still folds up. So we'll see. One thing about this Bondo too, it's made to be sanded. Unlike fiberglass, I'm not sure if you could sand fiberglass. You probably can, but this Bondo is really made to be sanded, and it's made to be sanded to a very smooth surface to imitate metal, sheet metal, really, because it's made to fix dents in cars, fill dents. So if you want to, you could make it really smooth. You could make a statue, I reckon, if you felt very creative. So I'm finally getting around to fixing this. I'm going to use this kind of glue. Normally I'd probably use Elmer's glue, but I don't want it dripping, so I'm using this kind of glue. I'm going to clamp it. I'll spread that glue out a little bit with that stick, and then I'll clamp it. I spread it on both sides. That's if you really want to do it good, that's how you do it. That should do it. I could put more clamps on it. Actually, the spring clamp, I might grab a spring clamp and put it on there. But give it about 2 days. I'll probably let it go for about 2 days. It should be good. One thing is, this is just particle board, so the glue's only sticking to the particle on the surface. So I might end up having to put a screw through. Might run a screw through it, but so far I'm just going to do this.